It's March 26, 2015, and I was just last talking about Marianne McIntosh, and I just wanted to add something quickly, and that is that Marianne McIntosh was also involved with not just in this at this U.S. Army place where this one thing happened, but she was also in some situation in the U.S. seeing Alvaro Pardo off as he was going on a private plane back to Colombia, and giving him CDs and tapes, supposedly of my singing, or of my music, I think. And so I do know that she was connected to him, and when I refused to marry him in Washington State, she immediately ordered that my visits be reduced with my son, and started immediately beginning with the termination of my parental rights proceedings. And they just basically decided they weren't going to have any mercy at all. They were going to kidnap my son, and they decided to punish me for not marrying Alvaro. And if I had married Alvaro, that would have given him access to my son, and he was working for the government. So the United States has always wanted to have this government hand and control over my babies. And the only way that they were even willing to even discuss my having my son returned to me, who wanted to very clearly be with me, was supposedly only if I married Alvaro. And when I wouldn't give in to their pressure, and at the very end of things, when I refused to do what they wanted me to do, they punished me over it. And not only that, I am not quite sure what their motives were to begin with all along, because it's possible that using Alvaro and having him hold me hostage all that time anyway was just a diversion tactic so that they could stall for time and figure out a way around things. Because like for an entire year I tried to comply with some services that they had asked me to do or to comply with, because I felt that a psychological evaluation at that time in a certain location could be very helpful to me and exonerate me. And they stalled on that for a year, and then they were telling me that time had run out. So they said by the time we figured out what she might have to do, there's just not enough time. And that's after they deliberately had an entire year go by. And, with me seeing my son being brought to visits looking tortured. And they have tortured him. They tortured me. I know firsthand they tortured me, and I saw him being brought to offices looking like he was going through the same kinds of things that I was put through when I was a kid. So they wanted me to see that, and they wanted me to suffer. And Marianne McIntosh, also one of the last things that she said on the stand, that she said either once or twice, was she looked straight at me and said, "No," again. She just wanted to wield her old-time power over me, because she was used against me when I was a kid. She also participated in trying to get me to commit suicide. She was very actively involved in wanting me to be killed off. It's just a great thing. Great thing for a woman to be known for. But she was an active participant in wanting me to take a bunch of pills to kill myself, for me to commit suicide. She was part of that programming against me. She took an active role in it. And most of the things that I remember Marianne McIntosh being involved in had to do with assassination of me, programming me to kill myself. The one time that the reason why I might have looked over at Marianne McIntosh and told her what to do with regard to the sexual things that I was telling having to tell these other women to do, is because at one point in the Wenatchee area, Marianne McIntosh was part of some swinger group, and at least that's what I was, as a little kid, being led to believe or being told. And I think she was like hooking up with one of the judges. I mean, whether or not they really did hook up, I'm not quite sure. But I had to tell her how to have her pubic hair shaved, and she didn't like it. She got really mad because there was someone else who was over her, like a supervisor that was above her, and they were having me. They would tell some of these women, like even for example when I was in Columbia, and they were telling Janet Bechtel to do the things I told her to do. They wanted the women to go along with it as much as they would, because they wanted to make me look they wanted to make it look as real as possible and to have me look as bad as possible. Like all of this was being carried out. So some of the things that this one supervisor over in Wenatchee, or maybe outside of the area, wanted me to do to Marianne McIntosh, and then here she is acting as a lawyer later against me, stealing my kid from me. So she's definitely bent on revenge. But she was the one who was programming me when I was a very little kid to be killed. So she had kind of a reason to have me look bad. But at one point, either she was part of this, or it was like some supervisor that I was told was telling me to have her do this. And I was a young kid still at that time. She was in her underpants, and I had to tell her how her pubic hair should be shaved. And I was telling her to wear different kinds of underwear, different type of underwear, because she wore big underwear. And and then I was having to find out which person wanted to be with Marianne McIntosh, and I think it was a judge. Which judge or lawyer? I mean, I remember it as being a judge. I thought it was Judge Hotchkiss, but maybe she just wanted to hang out with him to talk to him anyway. And maybe it was just part of their whole attempt to have me look really bad. But they videotaped it. They videotaped me ordering Marianne McIntosh around and telling her what she had to do sexually and about something about her pubic hair. And then I had to criticize her body and tell her what she had to do to look more appealing to men too. And then they videotaped that whole thing. And then what she did with the videotape, or what this person did with the videotape, I have no idea, because I was just doing what I was being told to do. And at some point, she went along with everything, and I remember she could look like a real victim too, look really vulnerable and kind of like victim-like. But she was kind of coaching me too. Like they would stop the video thing, and she would coach me sometimes on how to do it, how to say things. And then when it was the video thing was playing, she had me coaching her and coaching her, telling her what to do, just like I was supposed to do. And then she finally said no to me again, and really mean, and then something like, "You will never be queen," or just like, "I don't love you," that whole thing again. But she did it so mean after acting like a mentor to me, because she had for a really short time sort of pretended to be a mentor, that I was devastated again. They kept trying to figure out the best ways to depress me, and to have me not only look bad so that they looked okay. They were looking for all kinds of excuses. And so she was involved with that in Wenatchee, but not in Columbia. In Columbia, I didn't see her doing that. But in Wenatchee, she was doing that. And that's where they supposedly, I don't know if it was on the record that she was even living in Wenatchee at that time. So, why was Marianne McIntosh in Wenatchee if she lived over in like the Midwest somewhere? I have no idea, but it was Marianne McIntosh. I'm positive. Yeah, positive. And so, anyway, then And she talked about Katie a lot too, Katie Middleton. She knew who she was, and she visited her a lot when Katie was like a really small little girl. Like Marianne McIntosh loved her. I don't know why she was so enamored with Katie when Katie was really tiny, but she was given some kind of a big part of the piece of the puzzle or whatever, or the cake or the check, whatever it was to do with Katie Middleton. Marianne McIntosh was being given a good slice, and she would light up just talking about her. And a couple of people did as well, because they were working with her, I guess, to develop Katie as a government psychic, you know, which I'm not. I got fried because they just wanted to kill me. But anyway, so that is something to do. That's more about Marianne McIntosh. And Marianne McIntosh, she kind of does spread herself far and wide and travels, because she was also in the Coquille, Oregon area. And I saw her at the house of Judge Gillespie. And Judge Gillespie is the judge who has, every time I've had a baby girl in the Coquille area or Coos Bay area, he's presided over the case. And they've lied, hidden all the records from the prior baby, claiming I've never had a baby girl there before. Mostly the other two, because I was a young teenager at the time. And anyway, I saw Judge Gillespie is also a programmer, and he was at Marianne McIntosh was at his house. And I remember her being with other women at his house when they were talking about me. There was some dark-haired woman there, and possibly Judge Gillespie's wife, and Donna Titleman, I believe, was there. Donna Titleman is also from Wenatchee, Washington, works as a social worker over there. She lives in the Sunnyside area. And I was taken to her house a few times when I was a kid. But when this was over in Coquille, it was definitely in Coquille. It was definitely the house that it was not Judge John Bridges, although Marianne McIntosh also knew Judge John Bridges. This was at Gillespie's house, and I was meeting some of the people that he knew. So this entire circle of sex, using kids for sex and sexual trafficking, they're all involved in this. And here they are, you know, supposedly looking out for the rights of children, and they're not. And they've kidnapped every single baby I've ever had. Not one of them has ever spoken up on, you know, as to the truth. And they just, I got threatened when I was really young with people saying, either you work for us and you work with us, and you can program kids and you raise your own kids too, or we'll kidnap your kids and we'll make you look crazy. And that's what they've done. They will lie. They will take great lengths, go to great lengths to lie any way that they can, just to make me sound completely nuts. And I have been brutally, viciously tortured a number of times, just for talking about it.